There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left. That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
Marcus, I'd like to begin this episode with a trial of you. I'm sorry about this.
Is he on the stand?
I have to question and needle you about your consumption of Indian food. See, I have heard you talk about it on 3 different episodes of 3 separate podcasts.
Yeah.
How much Indian food you eat?
How much do you eat, Marcus?
I ate it yesterday and the day before.
That's a lot of days.
I am going to say, on behalf of your asshole, I'm now declaring myself the little mayor of your asshole.
Wow.
It was a rough morning.
Please
Oh my
stop
goodness.
the flood of Vindaloo. Please stop the terror of Gram
Honestly, I'm going to
Marsala.
come. I'm in defense of your stomach. Keep it coming. I love this stuff. I don't care what the butthole has to go through.
It's too many spicy
And I'll
creams.
also be, on behalf of your taste buds, more, please.
I just feel like Indian people have got the guts to handle the creams, but you got fiery devil creams.
He's a Texas boy. Texas.
They don't eat cream.
Anyway, this is the last podcast on the left, everyone. I am Ben Marcus Parks. We got H-Bone here as well.
Man, it is cool in the new studio. Ooh.
That's right. It might sound a little bit echoey to you, not up to usual standards, but we are in a new studio. We're still going through our transitions, and stick with us, and everything will sound great going in the future.
Changes. I am wet.
Yeah.
You are soaking wet.
Thank you for complaining immediately.
I'm not complaining. Actually, I wouldn't even say I'm complaining. I feel like it's energy. Like I'm slick for the radio. It's actually like back in the day.
Right.
We got too comfortable. And now that this is nice, now it's feeling like back to my roots.
That's right.
I'm sitting in a puddle of my fucking nut Vindaloo.
No one wants to hear about it. Okay, so we just did a 4-parter on Oklahoma City. We've had some intense subject matters the past couple of months and past couple of weeks. That whole bombing thing with the children. So we decided to do a little palate cleanser and just read some creepypastas and hang out.
Big fat Italian man just sucking in a bunch of noodles, but what are they? Souls. Big fat creepypasta. Oh my God, there's goes spaghetti. It's been so long since I've looked at them, and I
know.
gotta tell you what, the quality has not increased.
I don't know. I think there's some good stuff in here. Spooky spaghetti. Also, we want to press 3 p.m. That's our show at the Montreal Just for Laughs Festival. And if you even go there thinking about thinking, get out. It is just for laughs.
Oh my God. Do you know that if you enter the streets of Montreal and with a frown on your face during the Just for Laughs festival, they put you in a room and put a bag over your head and then put a cloth over that bag and they waterboard you and your family. They will all cluster, have sex with your grandmother.
We force them to laugh.
Yes.
That's a good way to do
Just
it.
for laughs.
3 p.m. Next Thursday and Friday.
Perfect time
That's
for us.
right. And again, don't think about not laughing.
Don't
Especially
even
when
fucking
you-
think about it.
Especially when you enter that hotel conference room at 3 p.m.
Built for entertainment.
Ready for
now,
laughter.
Before we begin today's episode, as is customary, before we begin, I imagine right now that you are sitting at home with your family and you're looking at your kids and you're thinking like, how the fuck do I get out of here?
Sure.
Or you're looking at your significant other who's in the bed right now. You got headphones in because you just had another long, weird, just thrust session of that person on top. You just dry hammering.
I don't think that this is something they listen to after something like that.
They do. That's
I'm
they
not
said
sure.
they pop it in as a palate cleanser for themselves, and they think and they look at their significant other and they're like, "How do I get out of here?"
Yeah.
That's love is real.
So
though,
what I
as
say
well.
you got to do is, all right, first of all, wash yourself. If you're at the office, right, I want you to go, because a lot of times I'll have gyms, go down to the office gym, pop yourself in the shower, really wash your top. Don't wash the bottom at all. Anything from the
that's
belly
not
button
possible.
down.
What do you saran
it is-
wrap your bottom? How
Yeah,
do you-
you just get your body halfway in and halfway out of the shower. It requires a lot of core strength, but it can happen.
You wash yourself like
a
you're washing
centaur?
yourself in a waterfall, exactly like a centaur.
What the?
All right. So just wash your top hat. Really scrub your breasts, men and women. Scrub them, scrub them, scrub them, scrub them, scrub them all covered in soap. They're pink. They're all pink and raw from your loofah.
Check for lumps.
Check for
Men
lumps.
and women.
Yes, because men can die of breast cancer.
Yeah.
And then when you go back to your cubicle, don't even bother putting on any clothes. If you're with your family, just waltz around the living room and be like, "This is me time. This is me time." And then what I want you to do is go and get some of them fucking, oh my God, some of that nutmeg that only is born in the island. That sweet spicer, right? That big, thick old dog feet nug. Put it in your fucking Abraham Lincoln shaped pipe because you are a fun person.
That is fun.
And you bought it at a 420 day.
Ooh, that's a good
in
day.
Denver or Washington State.
Wow.
And I want you to smoke that fucking nugget so deep in your family, so deep in your lungs, like your family. Yes, so deep inside of your family.
No,
in
I
your
think
family.
around the family is probably the best.
And lay yourself back, hovering just above the rim of death, and prepare to be spookified by some creepy pastas.
Now I just want to have now I just think about Pomeranians.
Why?
Wait a second. Now, why?
Dog's feet. All right. Well, I'll start it off here, and don't worry, my skills at reading creepypastas have gotten worse. So let's do this one. This is called, I believe it's called Dear Reader, which is kind of an exciting subject, and that's to you. It's nice that the.
Actually, I think it's to you if
It's
you're
to
reading
you.
it.
You're the
That's
reader.
what I'm saying. No, it's to me, but I'm saying it's to the reader. Dear.
Because they're the listeners.
I
out
understand what's going on.
You're the reader.
Dear reader, I bet you didn't know this. Okay, now I'm starting it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Great.
Dear reader, okay, I bet you didn't know this, but a piece of your soul is captured every time your image is trapped in a photograph. Okay, that's scary.
Maybe you
It
should
is-
close out each round. You know what I mean?
No, do you want to come back to me?
there.
No.
Okay. Dear reader, I bet you didn't know this, but a piece of your soul is captured every time your image is trapped in a photograph. But it's good on Instagram. It's fun to get the hearts. It is generally a trivial amount per photo. The average person wouldn't be affected over the course of their life. Okay. Do you ever wonder why celebrities seem so different?
No.
Do you ever wonder why celebrities seem so different?
No.
Do you wonder why many struggle to keep relationships and most can't relate to normal people?
What?
You rationalize it. You say it's the money and the fame, but it's not the truth. They are in hundreds of photos every day. Their souls are disappearing with each flash of the camera. Emotions fade with the soul. That is why so many of them resort to sex, drugs, booze, religion, or violence in a laughable attempt to feel something again.
Is this from the comment section of Goop?
I don't know, actually. The damage is already done, though. Dying without a soul is a true death. There is no afterlife waiting for these people. Their soul is now trapped here, fragmented on this planet. So now, to the point of this letter. Get to it. Okay, so now to the point of this letter. I remember standing at Hell's Gates preparing myself to spend eternity there, but at the last minute, I was offered a seat in heaven with one condition. I had to return to the living as a new man and find a way to thin out the exponentially expanding crowds in the afterlife. I think I succeeded. Best regards, Walter Ruff? Though you may be more familiar with the name I was given in my second life. Mark Zuckerberg. No! Zuckerberg! That is amazing. Mark Zuckerberg is slowly stealing the souls of all of us. He was sent to heaven and sent back to
Wow.
earth to take all of us down.
Wow, that is.
Yeah, because heaven's running out of room, as is hell.
Tell me about it. When I look around here, because that's what I keep saying. People are getting better. That's for certain. Everywhere I go, I'll be like, man, everybody's just great out there.
Yeah, in no way did we just get into a screaming fight today at a hardware store with
Over
someone.
a drill that he sold us it was obviously a used drill that he just repackaged inside of an old box.
You want to get nasty? You want to get nasty? I can get nasty. You want to get nasty?
He was
got
my
nasty.
character from the characters. He was
Right.
which is kind of fun that it's real. Are you prepared to get scared?
I'm feeling
Are
prepared.
you all right to be afraid?
I'm
My breath caught on my chest, cold air drying my mouth, leaving my tongue numb. My eyes strained to see through the fog, my legs moved as fast as they could, my heart beat quickly against my ribcage, all while my mind was completely blank of any coherent thoughts except one: run. The forest whipped by me, shadows clawed at my heels. The moon did little to illuminate the trees. My torch had finally gone flat. I thought this was a bad idea, coming here on my own. I knew this was a bad idea after I found that first page, then the second, then the third. All of them were warnings, but I also knew I had to come. Ever since I started getting sicker, seeing shapes, feeling eyes, hearing voices, coughing up blood, I had to come to the place where it all began. The day I saw the tall man with no face, watching me with no eyes, calling to me with No voice. How? I don't know. I don't know how one calls to someone without a voice. I continued running until I simply couldn't go any further. As my adrenaline wore off and my body decided the danger had passed, I slowed until I stopped. Almost immediately, my legs gave way beneath me and I hit the ground hard. Laying on my back as I attempted to catch my breath, I licked my lips. Maybe it was finally gone. I heard a rustle in the bushes nearby, and the back of my neck prickled. I sat up, still panting. I couldn't see anything. A cold breeze tickled my skin, sending a wave of goosebumps over my body and chilling me to the bone. Then a voice, like static from a TV, whispered in my ear. I jumped and, still unable to see anything, grabbing the tree as I was leaning against, I pulled myself up, and when I was halfway there, my head hit a branch. Something wasn't right. That was too low for any branch. I turned to look at the tree and my eyes widened. That wasn't a tree. That was a tall, slender man in black. And even worse, that wasn't a branch. That was a huge, and I mean huge, bulge in his pants. I gasped and tried to step backwards, craning my neck to see his face, a white head with no features. I ended up kneeling before this thing with my body restrained by strong tendrils. I tried to cry out and I was immediately silent, struggling for breath. And after a few moments, the grip was relaxed, albeit slightly, and a pale, white hand appeared. Its long, slender fingers wiped a few strands of hair from my eyes. His featureless face seemed to be watching me. For a moment, it felt like we were connected in some way, like this was meant to happen. All too soon it ended, and the hand moved to his pants, pulling them away to reveal his erect member.
Oh my goodness.
I struggled as my face was forced against it. My lips were pressed to his tip, applying pressure as I refused to give entrance. I felt a tug at my own clothes, and they were ripped away, revealing my body to the harsh cold. I gasped, and I was forced backwards, taking half of his member into my mouth. I almost gagged on just that. As he slowly moved my head back and forth, his member throbbed inside of me, and gradually, I was getting used to this foreign object in my mouth. This goes on for 3 more pages.
This is erotica.
Yes.
You've managed to take spooky spaghetti and make it erotica.
This is Slender Man erotica.
Slender Man slash fic.
Wow. It's
I
technically
also-
called Creepypasta Lemons, and I looked this up, and I started researching more and more into Slender Man, and I found out he's got a whole world of dumb shit that's out on
Really?
the internet, and that's the reason why those 2 little girls murdered their friend.
Or attempted to, yeah.
They stabbed their friend because they believe that Slender Man lives in a mansion, and he's got these things called proxies that are like his slaves, and I guess, according to these Creepypasta Lemons, he fucks a bunch of them.
I guess so. It also kind of sounded like a Hollywood producer running away from Brad Garrett as he constantly asks if they're going to come back with Everybody Loves Raymond.
coming back? All right. But
That is spooky stuff, though.
you're not hard?
Not even remotely. Oh, I'm not answering that.
Is that a branch? I also, I have real ones if you want me to read them as well.
Well, you lost your turn.
All right.
Yeah, now it's Marcus's turn
All right.
because you wanted to read erotic Slender Man fan fiction, I guess.
Slash fic is
Slash-
the
oh, I see.
technical term.
It's lemons is the term I said. That
okay.
I guess that means because it has penetration in it.
Oh, okay. I don't even want to get into why that is that.
All right, this story is called Instant Messaging.
Oh man, I remember that from when we were in high school.
Oh, yeah, AOL.
It all started on the 14th night of March, the night of my parents' 20th wedding anniversary. It was a wonderful, sunny day, if memory serves. Surprisingly warm, for before the beginning of spring. The beautiful weather was perfect for the atmosphere of the day. Being married for 20 years is obviously a momentous occasion, so my parents had booked a table at our favorite Italian restaurant.
Olive Garden. Without a doubt.
That's the best part, because never-ending soup and never-ending bread.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, this was a formal occasion, so I had my best suit on. It was 5:33, and I was just straightening my tie when the phone went off. I'd received a message. That's strange, I thought. That never happens.
How sad is this guy in a suit in an Olive Garden? Got a message. He's just like, what?
What?
Why?
Someone, a notification.
What is going on?
Is there a ghost in the machine?
I checked the message. It was from my mom. It was quite a jumble of numbers and letters, but through the vocabulary stew, I could make out one legitimate phrase. Please help me.
Oh, that's a good one.
It should go without saying that this worried me greatly, so I immediately replied, "Are you okay?" Just as instantly, I got another text which read,
Oops, pocket text.
It happens.
I sighed with all the relief I had and continued to prepare myself.
Is that all the relief you have? Okay.
Is that Slenderman's branch?
Get off of Slender Man.
Branches.
Put your pants back on.
A few minutes later, I received yet another message, this time from my dad. I checked the text, and once again, it was a massive mixture of letters and numbers with the phrase, "Please help me," concealed within. Creepy though this was, my dad was always a joker, so I presumed he was just joking around, until I was sent another text saying,
Oops, pocket text.
Maybe it's your butt talking about trying to get help from all the Indian food you eat.
Just Ash is covered in pimples, and that's how it's touching all the QWERTY keypad on there, because I know he's sending all these butt texts.
Now this sparked panic. Pure, unmistakable panic. Exactly half a minute passed when I received the exact same 2 messages from my sister. This could not be coincidental. It just couldn't. In a state of sheer anxiety, I started to run to the restaurant. I made it about a quarter of the way before I was stopped by a police officer. "Main road's closed," he said. "Huge car crash."
Car crash?
I think you said car crash.
Oh.
Yeah.
"Main road's closed. Huge car crash."
Car crash.
Car crash?
No, car crash.
This was the exact moment I realized just what had happened. I demanded to see the wreckage, a request which I was surprised was allowed.
I love when you demand something and then they give it and you're like, oh, that worked, huh?
wow.
Now I have to go see it.
When I got there, it wasn't the remnants of the car that caught my eye, nor the flames billowing from the destroyed vehicle, no. I was horrified to see the lifeless corpses of my mother, father, and sister. I asked for the estimated time of their deaths. All 3 of them were killed instantly by the collision at 5:32. A minute before the first text!
Oh my God. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of squirrels in the woods just laughing their asses off. Just texting. If we text the humans, please help, they get freaked out.
I know I left the restaurant, but tell me, do I still get the same never-ending pasta and soup bowl, or do I have to buy another one? Is it when you leave the restaurant, does it end? And then do I have to come and re-up, or?
Technically, if you're in the parking lot, you're still in the restaurant.
Excellent. Yes. Yes. Oh, the relief I have.
Oh. So much relief. All right, we got some death, we got some erotica here, and we found out about Mark Zuckerberg so far. Great, fascinating content. Okay, let's move on. This one is called The Argument, and we all have them, even if we don't want them.
Yeah.
It's healthy to have them.
Yes. And
Don't keep your emotions bottled up.
No.
And it's written by Anon Imus. Anon Imus.
You're a fucking asshole.
Hey, kind of a fun joke there. The argument. Now they kind of set a scenario here for you. So you're the manager for a small store. You hired one of your friends. Never do that, by the way. That's
Never.
a great way to have a friendship end. And you just found out that he's been stealing from the register, stealing stock, abandoning his post to visit with his girlfriend in the back room while he's the only one on duty. And the argument you had with him at the office just didn't settle it for you. You pound on his door. When he opens, he goes pale, soils himself, which means pee-pees himself.
He literally pisses himself. His friend, your friend.
Apparently, you are a very aggressive general manager of what can only be a Ace Hardware.
Yes.
Okay. So he bailed. Can you imagine opening the door and just seeing one of your friends and you urinate? Maybe you shouldn't be friends anymore. But he goes pale. He soils himself and staggers back, gasping for breath. It doesn't impress you. Oh, you're like a real Shania Twain. You're like, that doesn't impress me much. Okay, it doesn't impress you, really. You figure it doesn't impress you, really. You figure he just thinks you are showing up with the cops until you step through his door and glance to the side, where you get a good look at yourself in the mirror. Or at least the parts of you that are still recognizable after that shotgun blast that your friend gave you at the end of that argument. So
don't really understand.
it's a shot. You're dead.
So you've
your
been
friend.
dead.
The
You're
argument.
dead.
So why is
you're
it
the,
telling-
You're the vengeful ghost that's coming
You're
back.
the vengeful
Why is
ghost.
the story telling me what I am if I know what I am?
Because you didn't
You didn't
know.
know 'cause you had to
didn't
look in
know.
the mirror.
Because your friend pissed himself, and
He
you're like,
pissed himself.
why is he pissing himself?
You know what? I'll just reread it.
No,
You're
no,
the
no,
manager
no,
of the
no, no,
small
no,
store.
no,
You
I
hired
think I
one of your
understand. I think I
friends.
understand.
He's stealing everything. The conversation
I
ended
guess.
with
Now
him
I
shooting
understand.
again.
Now I understand.
Doesn't impress you really. You're like a little Shania
Like Shania Twain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. I like that story.
So this is also a letter.
If this turns into erotica, you don't get a chance to make it scary.
I would never do that.
Why are you? It seems like it does turn into erotica.
No, I would never do that. Why would I ever do that? You were one of Slender's new proxies and went by the name Heartless as you took your victims' hearts. At the moment, though, you were sat on a couch watching Ben play his video games.
Did you write the name in there?
No, it says Ben on there because Ben is one of the famous proxies in the creepypasta world.
Really?
Yes.
Well, it's an honor to have my name used
Yeah.
as a creepypasta proxy when it comes to Slender Man penetrating my mouth.
Hey, peanut butter bitch. That's what it says here. That's the person who wrote it. You turned and grinned as the twitching boy known as Toby skipped. Yes, skipped into the room. Hey, Toby, what's up? You asked. Slender wants to speak with you in his office, he chirped. You got up and ran up to Slender's office and walked inside, but you were confused to find it empty. You spun around when you heard the door click and shut behind you. You saw Toby standing in front of the door, blocking the only exit. Toby's like a super famous proxy of the world.
I'm following.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Toby, what the fuck? You almost yelled as he began walking over to you. I have waited so fucking long to do this. He drawled, his once childish tone gone and replaced with something darker. Before you could say anything, his lips crashed into yours, and your eyes widened, but you quickly melted into the kiss, wrapping your arms around his neck.
And what is Slender Man just like doing taxes during this whole thing?
No, he's got paperwork.
He's in his office.
He's in his office.
Why does Slender Man need an office?
Mansions take stuff.
Yeah, you got to pay your bills. You got to pay the
Payments.
groundskeeper.
I
You got to
got it.
pay
Okay.
the maid.
Garbage, water.
All right.
He pulled you closer, and you can feel his crotch swelling, and with each passing second, until you couldn't take it anymore, and you unzipped his jeans, pulling them down. And you crouched so you were eye level with his growing member, the material of his boxes, the only thing keeping it away
It's
from you.
similar to the last
You
one.
smirked and nuzzled his crotch, making him moan in pleasure and groan in frustration. You teased him like that a little longer until you decided to pull his boxers down so they were around his ankles and his full length was out.
What is Slender Man doing this whole time?
He's fucking filing his taxes.
Oh, so this isn't Slenderman that's
This
being
is just
blown.
erotica. This is a
is
penthouse
Toby
4.
or Ben being blown?
This is Toby.
Okay.
By me. I don't like
Your
No, wait,
eyes.
is-
It's by peanut butter bitch.
Peanut butter bitch. Okay.
Yeah. Your eyes widened at its sheer size. It was exactly 9 inches, if not more, and he chuckled, like what you see. And you smirked up at him, not as much as you're gonna like this. And as soon as you finished that sentence, you took his whole dick in your mouth, and he gasped in pleasure, putting his hand on the back of your head, and he began bobbing your head on the tip of his cock, pressing
Why?
against the back of your throat, threatening to choke you as he picked up speed, his moans filling the air. Oh, as he came in your mouth and warm liquid trickled down your throat. He
Oh,
pulled it
my
out of your
goodness.
mouth. Now it's your turn, he said, picking you up
Oh,
and placing you on top of Slender's desk without his permission.
What is Slender Man doing?
He's at the grocery store because everybody's asking for all the different nut
So his
milks.
employees are just having sex with each
You're
other.
getting crack-a-lacking in the middle of his office. And began undoing your shorts, peanut butter bitch, so they had a clear view of your panties, which were thoroughly soaked.
Somebody just unplugged the headphone jack from their work computer and is now being escorted out by security because of
He
this.
begins rubbing you through the wet cloth, making you moan in pleasure, begging him to go further. Getting your signal, he pulled off the wet fabric and he threw it off to the side. He stuck 2 fucking fingers aside of you, whilst licking your clit, making you moan louder as he pumped his fingers, trying to elicit as many moans as pleasure as he could possibly get.
This isn't really scary.
It's not. Well, at the same time, it's kind of the most horrifying thing I've ever heard because it's coming out of the mouth of a 5'5" hairy Polish man.
yeah. How much longer does this go on?
Several pages.
Okay, so we're not going to get through a
Right,
full
so
Henry
I guess-
Zabrowski creepypasta because he chose to go with the erotica version of creepypasta, which I didn't even know existed until right now.
Well, I've got a scary one.
Okay.
Ugh. And he opens up his pants to reveal his boxers and his full swelling bulge. That's not a branch.
No, I mean, Henry's have technically still been the scariest.
Yeah. This is short. A man was driving through the woods on his way home. He'd been working all night, so he was very tired. The forest didn't help.
Of course he was.
He was very tired.
He was very tired.
Very tired. Very, very
And
tired.
the forest didn't help, with its thick, leafy trees blocking out all the sunlight. He kept drifting in and out of consciousness while holding the steering wheel. Suddenly, a figure ran out onto the road. The man jerked the wheel in an attempt to avoid the figure. However, he lost control of the wheel, and the car crashed into a pit on the side of the road. Luckily, besides a few minor injuries, he was still in one piece. He stumbled onto the middle of the road to signal for help, only to be hit by a car.
Stop it, Marcus. People are going to die in their office.
Vehicular deaths are real. and
Vehicular deaths.
We need to think about that. Wow, so he was hit by a car.
He was hit by a car.
Not really a creative pasta,
But
it's a very accurate depiction of how many people die on a daily basis. You just get hit by a car.
And how terrifying is that?
Yeah, what's going on in Slenderman's mansion? Can we get an update on that?
I guess he's just out at the fucking bank while there's 15 other people just banging in, and they're all these child molesters.
Huh, interesting. Okay, so this tale I'm about to give to you, it's called This New Old House. So I don't know how that's possible, but nonetheless, kind of trickery by one of the real estate agents. It's a new old house. It's an old house. And don't fucking lie to me, okay? It's this new old house. We bought an old house, my boyfriend and I. He's in charge of the new construction, converting the kitchen into the master bedroom, for instance, while I'm on wallpaper removal duty. It seems like he's doing a lot more work. She's just removing wallpaper, which is very fun.
Yeah.
Also, it might not be a girl. Let's not be exclusive. This could be a gay couple.
It could be.
And that's wonderful.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
No problem.
I guess thank you for being
I'm gonna
brave.
make, as a matter of fact, I'll take today's hero award. It is a gay couple. Okay. So let's start it over thinking about it like
making
that.
them gay. Making them gay.
Make him gay.
Which is just going to make them the exact same way as they are.
No, dude, but one's got a big old cock, and the other
That's
one's
for you.
ready to
That's
just
your
force
pasta.
it fucking the tip of
This
it
is your
deep to the back
That's
of
your
their
pasta.
throat.
This is my pasta. This is this new old house. That's what I'm reading. It's about a house, not about sexual things. My God. Okay.
His cock.
Come on. Good. We bought an old house, my boyfriend and I. I am also a man, and we are in love with each other.
Wow. So brave you can say it.
Yeah. He is in charge of the new construction, converting the kitchen into the master bedroom, for instance, while I'm on wallpaper removal duty. The previous owner papered every wall and ceiling. Removing it is brutal, but oddly satisfying. The best feeling is getting a long peel, similar to your skin when you're peeling from a sunburn. Nothing's better than that when you really get a lot of your skin peeling off.
Yeah, nothing's literally nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing is better than that.
I don't know about you, but I kind of make a game of peeling on the hunt for the longest piece before it rips. This is a very boring day for this person, but
Yeah.
they're having fun with
It
it.
sounds really fun.
Yeah, kind of. Under a quarter section of paper in every room is a person's name and date. Curiosity got the best of me one night when I Googled one of the names and discovered the person was actually a missing person. The missing data matching the date under the wallpaper. The next day I made a list of all the names and dates. Sure enough, each name was for a missing person with dates to match. We notified the police, who naturally sent out the crime scene team. I overheard one text say, "Yep, it's human." Human? What's human? Ma'am? Oh, I guess it is a woman. Hero award's been stripped. Ma'am, where is the material you removed from the walls? This isn't wallpaper. You were removing. Let me do that again, because that's a big line there at the end.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I just got thrown off because I'm going to say man. I'm changing. It's going back.
Man?
I'm putting my hero badge back on.
say, sir.
Sir, where is the material you removed from the walls already? This isn't wallpaper. You were removing. It was human flesh. Human flesh.
So you didn't know you were inside a big person?
I don't know.
I think they wallpaper. I think that he used
It's a
wallpaper
metaphor.
of his. No, I think he actually used the skin of his victims as wallpaper.
Which is a horrible wallpaper.
Oh, yeah, very bad because of the smells.
Yes.
Today's sponsor for Last Podcast on the Left is ZipRecruiter. Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? Finding great talent can be tough. Thankfully, with ZipRecruiter, you can post your job to 100 plus job sites with just one click. Then their powerful technology efficiently matches the right people to your job better than anyone else. That's why ZipRecruiter is different. Unlike other job sites, ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you, it finds them. In fact, over 80% of jobs posted on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just 24 hours. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Simply screen, rate, and manage candidates all in one place with ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use dashboard. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by businesses of all sizes to find the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now, our listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/LEFT. That's ZipRecruiter.com/LEFT. One more time, try it for free. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/LEFT.
Because I'm going to switch this up now.
Okay.
Switch gears.
Switch the gears.
Gosh, I can hardly contain myself as I write this testimony about what happened to me. My entire body is starting to tingle and go
Doesn't
numb.
seem like you're switching gears.
No, it's
It is
switching gears.
exact
When
same
is it?
gear.
You'll see. As I relive this wonderful, wild fucking again in my memory, he's right. I've been extremely horny ever since our camping trip. I know he does not believe me, but obviously you would have had to have it happen to you to believe it.
Sure.
So yada yada yada. It's camping season, and she's out with her boyfriend, and they're camping.
Okay.
I was awoke in the middle of the night. My bladder was reminding me to go find the restroom.
It's a strange way of saying you have to go pee.
Bladder is reminded me.
Reminding
bladder's
like a
reminding me
filthy
again.
assistant. My assistant's all filled with shit and piss.
Bladder's like on the phone. Don't forget to remind her we've got to pee.
James was sleeping soundly, like always, so I didn't bother to wake him up. It was a warm evening and a full moon. So I went out in my nightgown and flip-flops, and I could see something with the moonlight. I had nothing on underneath since I took off my bra and my panties before going to bed. I found the flashlight and eventually found the restroom at the center of the campground, and I just sat down on the stool and put my flashlight on the floor when I heard a noise.
Wait, she's camping and she's sleeping naked?
And just your panties and her bra.
I sleep naked no matter what.
Camping?
Yeah.
No, the bears will attack. You can't sleep naked while camping.
Only if you've got periods coming out of you, or you scratched your butthole on a pine cone like maybe you and Carolina in your forest adventures might have done. My first thought was that I was sure the door had closed fully behind me and latched, thus locking behind me. As I sat there peeing, the doorknob turned and the door opened slightly. At this point, I was done peeing, but I was sitting there scared of my wits that a bear or a raccoon or a camper
Ooh.
was coming in.
There's a big difference between a bear or a raccoon.
Yeah.
I'm much less scared of the raccoon.
And a human.
Yeah.
I'm actually more scared of a raccoon than a bear because of their diseases.
Oh, stop it. They're nice and they're fun.
Now, this is the part where James does not believe me. In walked in the biggest, hairiest, what looked to be a man that I have ever seen. And from what I could see with my dimming flashlight, he was at least 7 feet tall and fully covered with hair from head to toe. He kept sniffing the air like a dog on a scent. He was grunting something at me, and before I could let out a scream, he lunged forward and grabbed me up off the toilet. His two hair-covered hands completely enclosed around my waist. My face was pressed into his hairy chest, and as I was screaming bloody murder into his smelly hair, my screams were muted. As he rushed me out the door, I noticed from the corner of my eye a woman standing there with her flashlight. Her face lit up just enough that I noticed the astonished look on her face as my kidnapper carried me off into the thick forest.
Is this
Now-
Yeti smut?
Now, from what
I
I
do
could
not
make
want to
of,
listen.
I switched it up. Now, from what I could make of it, as he leapt and bound, the thing carried me over the next ridge and down to the rocky ravine. The scent of this thing has been described in books by Bigfoot hunters as a pungent, stinky odor, but to me it was more like an attractant or sort of alluring masculine pheromone scent. As he carried me without much effort, my fear subsided and I actually felt safe in the strong man's arms. It was just a strange sense and perhaps an ancient instinct playing on my mind, like a caveman had taken me.
It's a Sasquatch.
He brought me to my hole in the rock. He brought me to a hole in the rock.
Sounds a lot more. It sounds a lot more like a skunk ape.
That was
Well,
an
whatever
entrance
it is.
to a hidden cave. And speaking of hidden caves, he laid me on a soft pile of women's clothing. There was just enough moonlight coming in from a hole in the ceiling that I could see him pretty good. It seemed obvious that the scenario had been repeated over time.
It's a tale as old as time.
It seemed obvious that this scenario had been repeated over time, and some other women had left some of their clothing behind. My nightgown, unridden up to my waist in my private area, was exposed to
my
his
goodness.
gaze. I quickly closed my legs to limit his view. He grunted and kept sniffing the air. I started to worry when I noticed what looked like the large head of his penis, resembling the
God. I
underside
don't
of a
wanna
big
hear about-
red apple. He then put one hand of my knees and he pushed them apart. In the air, I could feel the air swirling around my pussy.
Yeah, in the
and
air
my
tonight,
butt.
huh? It's
And
like
it was
it's like a
on my
Genesis
inner
song.
thighs. I immediately began to tingle all over my entire body and down to my toes.
Is this
I just thought
real?
of this big hairy man smelling my pussy was
Oh, my
all that I
goodness.
could take. My pussy became super wet.
I don't
and
wanna
could feel
hear
the
about
wetness
it.
running down the crack of my ass.
And there's a Yeti involved. I mean,
And
this
I was
is too
jealous.
much.
The crack was like, imagine this extra large rock hard cock and what it might look like buried to the hilt.
What's her boyfriend doing? He's just sleeping while a Yeti wins over his girlfriend.
I guess hopefully this camping trip will reinvigorate our relationship. Meanwhile, she's been turned into a circus tent.
Oh my God!
You don't want to hear more of it? There's
I
several
never
pages
wanted
of it.
More of it. I didn't want to hear any of it.
They're very long.
How many pages are there? I mean,
As he was
you
done
don't-
sniffing between my legs,
Oh
I quickly
my
moved
God.
her over to pushing my nightgown higher above my breasts. His hairy
Well, just
body
take it off at that point. I mean, what's
brushed my hardening nipples. His
All right,
penis
I
was
think
protruding
we're
more
good.
than-
Good
We're good.
Lord
We're
Almighty.
fine. Hardening nipples.
Hardening, not quite hard yet. They're hardening. Oh wow. Well, now is that real erotica? There, no people.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, of
into
course
that
it's real
stuff.
erotica.
Look
You
at
you,
that.
you throw a butt and a dick into it, then yeah, it's erotica.
Wow.
Hell yeah, dog.
Wet pussy.
Wet.
You
Wet.
learned-
Wet.
Pussy.
I
It is
did not know
dripping
that.
wet, my pussy.
I did not know that. I did not know that. That is wild.
Well, my story is called Channel Future.
Ooh, I like Channel Future.
Oh, have you ever heard of a show called Sharing Your Future?
No.
No.
Of course you haven't.
Oh, whoa, okay. All right, Jesus, fuck you.
I'm the only person unlucky enough to stumble across such a strange show. It all started with a simple sleepover with a couple of friends at my house, but it ended up turning into a nightmare. Don't try to help me. It's too late. Uh-oh. I have to write this down before they break in and murder me. Farewell.
Bye.
We were watching my brand new Ultra 4K smart TV
Oh my! What a
What?
braggadocious
Go
prick!
fuck yourself.
on the couch in the living room when the lights started flashing on and off. It was a power outage, and judging by the sudden darkness, it was a big one.
Cool.
It kind of looked like the underside of a big red apple. That's how big it was.
I cannot believe you forced me to visualize a Yeti's penis.
Since we couldn't watch TV until the power outage was fixed, they went down to the local supermarket to get us some refreshing ice-cold drinks. That's why I was surprised when I heard the TV suddenly turn on with a click. How the? How the?
Huh?
What the?
What?
I turned around and the TV was showing static, like when you try to watch a channel that had no signal.
Look like a Bigfoot having sex with a woman by a river?
I stared at the TV, waiting for something else to happen, but nothing did. Even after I waited for 5 whole minutes.
Wow.
What?
A thought suddenly floated up from the depths of my mind. The remote, of course. The TV wasn't going to act on its own. I quickly grabbed it from the table and started to surf the channels. Some feeling in my gut told me to go to Channel 0.
Oh my God! This is the channel that Jeff Sessions forces everybody to watch while he watches them watching it and violently masturbates.
Now look at it. Go to hypnotizer. Now look at it. Come on. Meow now. Meow.
I obeyed the feeling without thinking twice and pressed 0 on the remote. I got something all right.
Uh-oh. Is this erotica too? If you turn this into erotica, then I've lost all hope and lost all faith in the entire show.
The channel was working perfectly, unlike all the other static channels. The show was called Sharing Your Future. It appeared to be some sort of talk show. There was a woman facing the TV. Upon seeing me, she said in a taunting voice, do you want to see your future?
No, not with a voice like that.
I thought it was some sort of game, so I replied, yes, tell me my future. Upon hearing me, the woman grinned evilly. I was slightly creeped out by this, but I shrugged it off. The woman then said something disturbing. You will die a quick and painless death on October 5th, 2019, at exactly midnight.
No.
A slow and painless death? Or quick and painless death?
Cool.
That's how you want to die.
A picture of what appeared to be 3 gunmen kicking down the door to a house flashed on the screen. Enjoy the time you have left. The TV then overheated and shut itself off. My heart was beating rapidly at this point. I was dreading to check the date in case it was today. Once I gathered some courage, I quickly checked the date on my phone. I almost screamed in terror. Today was October 4th, 2019. Oh, wow. That was when I realized I'd forgotten to check the time. With all the hope I had left, I looked at the time. My heart almost stopped. It was 11:59 p.m.
Get out of there. Just jump out the window. Cool.
That's stupid.
That's a great. It was 11:59 p.m. He got told
And
his
midnight
future.
was when it was coming.
Oh, so his
and
friends.
it was October 4th, 2019.
But
So
what does it mean?
October 5th, 2019.
His friends were coming back to kill him.
No, well, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it was his friends.
Maybe because
it
he was bragging about that frickin' TV, and they're like, "Let's go rob
Maybe it was
4K.
just some dudes.
Yeah, it could just be some dudes.
Yeah.
They put the cock inside of him?
I don't think that. No, it was not erotica like yours. No, it was not. All right. Well, I got one here. It's called pyrocryptic. Pyrocystic. I don't know.
Boy.
No, that's the name of the person who made it there on the Tumblr. Okay, this one's called shopping. I used to go shopping with my mother on almost a daily basis. My mom used to tell me that I didn't have to go to school. And she'd just take me to Piggly Wiggly.
That's nice.
Isn't that nice? That's not the creepypasta. That's my life. It was amazing. I knew all the cereals, and I knew which ones I wanted.
I like anything that sounds like a pig just all covered in oil.
That was fun. My mom used to always say, C's get degrees. And she didn't make me go. It's strange parenting, but it worked all right. Okay, so this is called shopping. It was one of those fancy. This is me now reading the creepypasta.
Oh.
Do not. Okay. Shopping. It was one of those fancy stores, where you have all these really expensive clothes, but they are really good. I was looking at some jeans when I felt that there was a person behind me watching me. Now, I'm sure you agree that there is nothing worse than a salesperson following you around and watching you. There is nothing worse than customer service.
I do not like being tailed.
Okay. Although I think that your stories, everyone that you have read, Henry, are much worse than having good
'cause
customer service.
These people are really getting tailed. Like they're getting tails.
Yeah,
are
sort
getting all
of. Thank
filled
you.
up,
I don't even know
filled with
why.
Slender
I
Man,
don't
big
even know why I
cock.
bring it up. Okay. Now I'm sure you agree. There's nothing worse than a salesperson following you around and watching you, like you're some kind of potential thief. I guess for them, everyone is, but it's very disturbing. And this makes me want to prove I'm innocent by turning around and smiling with them and having some small talk, maybe. Turning around and smiling with them and having some small talk, maybe. That sounds fun. But I just kept on looking at the jeans, trying to ignore them. This one, when I was really fat, my jacket size was 54 Portly.
Yep.
I remember that salesperson. He saw me coming.
Yeah.
And this was a big and fat store.
And he's like,
I got one. It was like, what's the name of that Moby Dick?
Yeah, the Ahab.
I'm the walrus. Oh, I'm the walrus.
Walrus?
I'm the walrus, but I believe it's a whale.
It's
That
a
is
whale.
Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's John Lennon.
Cuckoo, cuckoo.
I am the walrus.
I am the walrus.
Shut up, Donnie. I love that from the Big Lebowski. Okay, so now she's just looking at the jeans. She's trying to ignore the salesperson. This went on for several minutes, and the person was just standing there watching me. A part of me wanted to turn around and confront them, and another part just wanted to run out of the store. But then I was thinking, why should I leave? I'm just a customer looking at jeans. I didn't do anything wrong. I hate this customer so much. I had every right to be in the store, so I kept on looking at the jeans. You want to buy something at some point, I would hope, but anyway. But I really couldn't concentrate on that. I kept thinking about the person behind me and how annoying that is. So finally, I plucked up the courage to confront them, to ask them to please let me do my shopping in peace. I turned around, and it was a mannequin. God, you can be so stupid sometimes, I told myself. And that's when it blinked. It blinked. The mannequin blinked. It's one of those blinking mannequins. I hate blinking
I
mannequins.
hate blinking mannequins. It's I know they're trying to make it more real, so I want to buy clothes that they're wearing, but at the same time, oddly haunting.
Oh, yeah.
His penis actually did a U-turn
my
inside
God.
of me.
Can
I
we-
reached inside his hair to
How
his
does a
ass
penis
and I
do a
squeezed his
U-turn?
structure. Look at it. You just have to get to this one bit because I love this. His cock had locked into me and it only moved an inch at a time in and out. I was so filled up and it was so tight in me that his humping was pushing my entire body back and forth on a pile of clothes. It was absolutely fucking incredible. I wrapped my legs around him tightly as I was fucking his massive,
this still the
barely
Yeti?
fitting cock as best as I could. He tensed and hardened, and I could feel him harden as his shaft pulsed. But because his cock was in a U shape inside of me, the head of his cock was pointed out at the entrance to my slit, and when he came, it drenched him. He had come all over
my
himself and all in his hair.
The ultimate practical joke.
Wow.
Wow. So, wow.
Candy cane in them. That's what's called pulling a
Oh, that's
candy
the
cane.
candy cane. I didn't realize a penis could U-turn, like some sort of magic bullet.
Wait, so the penis U-turned, so it was just pretty much a folded penis inside of her.
And then
But-
it came all
and then
over
it
him.
came
but
all
that
over
still
him.
seemed to work for the. This is a Sasquatch,
Ah.
correct?
Yes. I'll read a real one.
Well,
Cock. Fuck.
that's what it's called.
No. How Tommy really died.
Oh my God, this is gonna be a. I know what's happening here.
These days, when people ask me if I have any siblings, I just say no. But I used to. Just for a while. Tommy was my little brother, and by the time he was 3, we were best buddies. I remember how we used to wake up at about 5 a.m. on Saturdays to watch cartoons and kick up a hell of a ruckus until Mom and Dad booted us out of the house. And we'd go and we'd play in our swing set or maybe try to skip stones at the creek or just run around. But he got sick that next fall. It wasn't anything too bad. It was just a common cold, or so we thought. My parents didn't really do anything about it. They just figured they'd let it run its course. Poor kid probably went through a pack and a half of Kleenex a day, but that didn't help any. He was sneezing every other minute, spewing his snot all over the place, and I wouldn't have spent much time around him if my parents didn't make me. Because of the snot.
Right, I understood. Yeah, the pack and a half of Kleenex a day. Yeah.
That's how we ended up in the garage that day. We went out to run around, but because of his cold, Tommy got tired of just a few minutes, and we were heading back inside, and then he sneezed on me. Called the straw that broke the camel's back. All of a sudden, he started yelling about his cold and how gross it was to sneeze on everything and everyone and everything around him. He's sneezing, and he sneezed on me and again. And that's when he really lost it. My dad had a pegboard of tools on the wall. Tommy reached up and grabbed a hammer, and then he hit himself in the face with it a good 4 or 5 times. Smack, 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 until he was down. And then he hit himself again. Smack, 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 smack.
It's kind of like an Old West doctor, kind of.
I think I was in shock until then. I was like, whoa, dude, you're just sneezing.
Yeah.
I literally couldn't believe what just happened. And when I did, I went to help Tommy, but I stopped when I got closer to him. I tried to write about what his face looked like a few times and couldn't do it. All I can say is that his nose was smashed, along with his teeth and the front of his face. His skull was basically just opened up.
Well, if the cold's gone, it's all worth it.
Yeah. You disgusting person. But something was moving there. Something moved past a part of his skull, and for a while I thought it was a huge, living booger. And in a way it was. It was a slug. The first of a few that the doctor said were living in his nasal cavity. All the slime they were producing, that's what was making him sneeze so much. Because of the way it happened, I think my parents told everyone that Tommy died in an accident. I'm not really sure, and they're not around for me, and I asked them what they saw. My friends from school didn't buy that, so when they asked me how Tommy really died, I told them the same thing I told the cops, which is the crap that I just wrote. But that's not how Tommy really died.
Uh-oh.
See, Tommy couldn't have reached Dad's hammer, but I could.
So Sasquatch did a U-turn.
His cock came all the way out, that big red apple size of his fucking head. And it was the only thing that ever satisfied that girl, ever again. And then James just sat...
Sleeping away. All right, scary stuff here.
So is that how a Sasquatch reproduces somehow? Is that how Sasquatch always has sex, or is that just like specific to that Sasquatch?
I
might
am
have to
not a
amend our
fucking
big-
scientist.
Yeah.
I'm a scientist, all right? I am an erotic fan.
We'll have to amend our Bigfoot episode. We'll have to put a little addendum in there.
Well, speaking of scientists, my story is called cloning dangers.
Oh, watch out.
You're a mad scientist.
Okay. All right. I don't know why they always have to start off like this is an improv game.
And you
Yes.
decide to clone yourself.
Zip, zap, zop. Here we go.
So you finish your cloning thing, and when you turn it on,
You finished your cloning thing?
When
Then really get into
when
it.
you finish your cloning thing, you turn it on, a perfect clone of Bob Dylan walks out.
What?
Whoa.
Dude.
It's like super annoying.
A tambourine man.
Wow.
Everything seems fine until you suddenly realize you're not Bob Dylan.
Yeah, buddy. I don't know what you're thinking there, friend.
It's actually kind of annoying.
I'm Bob Dylan. You ain't Bob Dylan, no.
You could need like a David Crosby or like a Roger McGuinn to kind of make your songs better for
Think
you.
you're Bob Dylan, you're not. It's me. I'm Bob Dylan, no.
Also, the actual Bob Dylan is nowhere nearby.
Is this old Bob Dylan or old Bob Dylan is now Bob Dylan? Is this 1970s Bob Dylan?
Doesn't say.
Oh, it's just Bob Dylan.
There's
It's
not a lot
me,
of
Bob Dylan.
How old are you, Bob Dylan?
I'm 14 years old.
Oh, 14-year-old Bob Dylan.
Yep, just boy. Always talk like this. Always will.
That's the whole story.
That's it.
That's it? That's the story? Oh my God. You don't get any badges for that. You get nothing. Let's see here. Well,
When does the Bob Dylan fuck that guy and his cock is so long that it U-turns
you
inside of him?
turn? All
Pulling
right.
a Yui.
Okay, I got one more.
All right.
This is gonna be big.
We got one more round.
One more round of the spookiest spaghetti anyone's ever heard, except for when it comes to Henry's, because those have all been
It
erotic.
fills me up when I think about it. I'm filled.
Okay, you turn. Okay, this one's called Teacher, Teacher. Wasn't there a show called Sister, Sister?
Sister.
That's
You're
right.
thinking of hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Same
Oh, I
time, though.
did like hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Fantastic idea for the Maori twins to do Teacher.
Oh, yeah, they should. They were successful. Okay, Teacher, Teacher. It was my first day at Red Tree Hills Middle School, and me and my best friend Jade both had Miss Chalk as our English teacher. That's a perfect name for an English teacher, Miss Chalk.
Yeah, I did.
Although now it's all PowerPoints and computers. I remember when chalk was actually a real relevant thing.
Finally, I'm glad again someone said it.
Anyway, Miss Chalk wasn't horrible or anything, but people said that she had a major problem with girls with braces. She doesn't like girls with braces. Very bizarre. You have to fix the teeth. So on a Monday in March, I got braces. I wasn't worried, but I should have been. As soon as I got to school the next day, a girl named Samantha walked up to me and told me that Miss Chalk was going to do something bad to me. I should have listened, but I didn't. So I walked into the class, and Miss Chalk stared at me with a stare so great I could have fainted. And she turned around and melted. Seriously, she melted. That's it. She melted. So
That's the weirdest shit.
yeah.
That's so. I mean,
That's-
you're tripping nut.
And she turned
You and I have
around
never
and
seen that.
melted. Seriously,
Did you ever-
she melted.
When tripping balls, have you ever seen anything melt? Like they
Ben.
talk about.
Cool. That was not. You were totally sober, and I just took my shirt off. It's because of the weight loss.
You saw Kissel melt?
Yeah, we did acid super late one night.
You and I did.
Yeah.
When?
Now, wouldn't you believe it? I don't remember a lot of that
Yeah,
stuff.
it was like really late. We dropped acid at like 3 a.m. We watched Planet Earth for a little bit, and you kept walking in and out. And you went into your bedroom and you just listened to roundtable episodes while tripping on acid.
What did you do? When was this?
That's a creepypasta that happened in real life.
This is in 2010, so these were like some of the really early episodes.
Wow.
And you kept walking in and out, like going to the bathroom, and every time you walked by, you just melted. But Planet Earth was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I
Hell
bet.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that really is just my body,
Yeah,
Marcus.
and I went outside and bought some oranges, and everything was beautiful because it was like 6 a.m. And then I had a meeting the next day and missed it.
Yes, I bet.
Sounds about right.
I do bet that.
Good night. Good times.
What lies within?
It's a movie.
It does. It is.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just a full script you're going to read, huh?
Yep. 150 pages. Bigfoot's cock is so long.
Can we
and
just
deep.
please enough with it?
Okay. What lies within? Turn out the lights. All of them.
Uh-oh.
Shut your now useless eyes and focus on silence.
Why would I shut them if they're...
Shut your useless
This doesn't make any sense.
eyes.
Now useless.
Now focus on the silence. Once you have blurred the noise around you, look inside. fucking wet pussy. You
Oh,
can feel
come
the
on.
wetness running down your crack.
Is that in the story?
Nope.
Okay.
Looking deep into your heart
Okay.
for something that's not you. And when you find it, ask its name. If it does not respond, say to it, "This is my body, and I'm king in it. You will speak." Then ask again, "What is your name? What is your name?" Listen closely with ears you don't have to the voice that you will hear faintly. Then you pull it from its resting spot and you fight it.
Lloyd. My name's Lloyd.
Yeah, your name's Lloyd, huh? Now your
Yeah.
name is Bitch.
Ouch. It's an audio podcast. You don't actually have to slap me.
I can hear him slapping.
Good Lord.
You,
Physical abuse, ladies and gentlemen. It's being recorded, Henry.
One more. This one's called Underneath Its Surface.
That's the dermis. Is that the dermis layer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, can I feel your epidermis? Hey, I'm gonna show you.
All
my
right, thank you.
epidermis.
epidermis is showing.
Let's just. All right. I think everyone's got it. Everyone got it.
Something disgusting and creepy happened to me when I bought my first car.
Yeah, rip-offs.
Here's what happened. I still remember it like it was yesterday. I was always eager to know what it felt like behind the wheel. That feeling when the cold wind catches and unravels your hair. The thrill of launching down the highway, dreaming that nothing can ever stop you.
Oh, yeah. Nothing can go wrong on the highway.
That's why when I finally passed driving school, my parents tried their best to earn enough money to buy me a new car.
Get a job yourself.
Good job.
They ended up buying me a 4-seat Toyota, which wasn't so bad compared to the poor people that had no cars.
Oh, my
Fuck
God. This guy's a
yourself.
prick.
These fucking millennials.
My parents quickly signed all the paperwork, and in half an hour, I was proudly holding the car keys in my hand. My parents told me that I could test out my car by driving it home. My first drive, yay!
Hey.
Then they got into their car and started to drive home carefully. I waved to them when they passed by, and they waved back.
Hi.
The
Hey,
next
there's a really hot kid in that car driving. Oh, that's our son.
The next second, they were gone. I got into my new car and leaned back to test how relaxing the leather seats were.
A 16-year-old with a leather-seated car? Come on.
It's a Toyota.
It's a Toyota, so it's not as nice as some, but it's better than the poor kids.
I noticed that there was one spot that felt like there was something poking out of the seat. I ignored it and started the engine.
Is that Paula Poundstone?
Besides, when I closely inspected the seat, I saw nothing poking out. I just blamed it on stress
Of course.
and started to drive home.
We all feel things poking out of seats when we're stressed out.
Like Bigfoot. Sometimes you want it when
understand.
you're
Thank
stressed
you
out
very
because he
much.
relaxes you in the way he gapes you.
I get it, yes.
A few days went by and everything was normal. I drove my car almost everywhere. Everything was perfect with it. The engine never failed to start. The brake and gas pedals never failed when I stepped on them. The only issue I had with the car was that thing poking out of the seat. And now it felt closer.
It's Guado.
Poking at you. Wrong about noon. When your appetite's poking at you. It's the old Paula Poundstone bit, so.
I couldn't explain it. It was like the thing was trying to get out of the seat. But how was this possible? I decided to get to the bottom of this once and for all, and I really wished I didn't. I got a razor from the bathroom and ran down to the garage. I knew this would forfeit my insurance, but I didn't care.
Good.
Why would you?
Why would you
I'm
care?
just so mad. It's just so maddening. Because you didn't pay for it.
Ooh, what if
because
it's
your
a-
parents paid for everything? They paid for the insurance. They paid for the car. So you
doesn't
don't
matter.
give a shit what you do to the car because you're just fucking 16 years old. You're a fucking moron.
Well, I really needed to know what was hurting my back so much.
I hope it's a little pug.
I cut into the leather over and over. Finally, once it was loose enough, I quickly ripped and threw the leather onto the ground. What I saw next almost made me vomit on the spot.
Oh. It was Bob Dylan.
Hey,
Hey.
that Valley No was like Highway 69.
Inside the leather, right in the middle of the seat, was a decayed human corpse. It was cut into pieces. It was so revolting. I could see its organs sticking out and its lifeless eyes still staring at me. I fainted. So that's why I'm writing this pasta to you now, to warn you. Always check every inch of your car before buying it. You never know what could be hidden underneath its surface.
Hell
I
yeah.
thought he was going to talk about buying American.
Yeah, brought
Get
to you
a
by
Ford
Blue
or-
Book.
Wow. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for going on this wonderful journey with us today.
We all learned a lot. We've all grown a lot.
Yeah.
Some of our pussies are just
I don't think
so
that, I think
matched
you can
up.
stop thinking about it now. Yeah.
Why would I ever stop thinking
Because
about
you
it?
have to be a normal human being at some point.
I just get so riled up.
I know you do. Let's see. Anything else we want to talk about? We have the Patreon thing. Thank you all for the subscribers for Patreon. You've made life changing. You've made our lives change for the better. So thank you so much. And I want to thank everyone in Milwaukee. We had a great show there. It was so fun. It was
We
great
did.
to hang out
Love
afterwards.
Milwaukee.
It was incredible. We had so
I'm
much
finally-
meat and so much cheese.
I finally shat.
Good.
That's how much cheese I
Oh,
consume.
man, it was
I got
incredible.
awful food poisoning while we were there.
Yeah, I
Not-
went to the Comet Diner and he got food poisoning. Guy Fieri, he didn't do it right.
Nope, absolutely.
You think you
not.
got it from the Guy
I'm almo-
Fieri diner?
there was
Oh.
because I only felt better when I threw up what was at the very bottom of my stomach, and then once that like coating of meatloaf that I got, once I got that out, I was totally fine. So yeah, I think it was Comet
No,
that
it's
gave
just-
me.
Guy Fieri would
And you
never
guys
lead
were
you
eating
astray.
the exact same shit that I was eating backstage.
That's true.
That was the only
Guy,
difference.
but we ate a lot more of it than you did.
True.
Which maybe that's why maybe we didn't get sick.
That
You
makes
didn't
no
have
sense.
enough of it.
That makes zero sense.
I don't know, but Guy Fieri would never do that to you. So I don't believe that. I don't believe your story. I believe
yeah, I'm
Guy
sure.
Fieri, diners, drive-ins, and dives.
You just get to the very bottom of your throwing up, and it's just like 5 frosted goatee hairs at the very bottom of all that food.
That's Flavortown.
Yeah.
You were in Flavortown, and you got to experience it twice, in and out.
Wow.
That's fun. Let's see. We
Also, follow us on Twitter at
That's
Henry
right.
Loves You, at Marcus Parks, at Ben Kissel. Follow us on Instagram. Mm-hmm. At Dr. Fantasi, at Marcus Parks, at Ben Kissel, the number 1, and follow Last Podcast on the Left on all of that fucking horseshit at
That's
LP
right.
on the left.
And we're going to be in Nashville this weekend, which we cannot wait for.
Yep, we're going to be in Nashville this weekend. Go to lastpodcastontheleft.com to get all of the live show dates for all of our upcoming live shows. The only 2 that aren't on the website is our show at the Just for Laughs Montreal Festival. You can
Don't
get to
think about thinking.
Don't
Well,
even
I mean,
fucking
don't
and you
think
know
about
what?
thinking.
And you know what? You're gonna have to laugh when you buy the tickets too, because those are available at hahaha.com.
hahaha.com. That is funny.
hahaha.com.
It's just for laughs.
And it's not scary at all.
no.
You go, ha ha ha.
I love it. Like it's sort of like Clockwork Orange when they make them smile.
Yeah.
You know, and they make them happy.
And make them happy. And we're also going to be at the Outside Lands Festival in
Yes.
San Francisco. In August, we're going to be doing the Sunday show.
We got asked. This festival is so badass.
fucking
Metallica's performing.
Queens of the Stone
Queens
Age.
of the Stone Age.
Dr. Octagon.
Dr. Octagon.
The Who.
I like the
Gorillaz.
The Avett Brothers. I like the Avett Brothers. I don't think we'll see them though. But
Probably not.
they're great though, and there's also a lot of great people performing with us as well.
I'm afraid to meet Pete Townsend.
We're not going to meet him.
I don't
we're not
think-
gonna,
yeah.
We're in the comedy tent. We're
Yes.
not going to be near anybody.
No one
At all.
wants to talk to us.
At least it's not the comedy porter potty.
I think it might actually be.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Do you want to meet some people we already know?
No.
Because that's going to happen.
We're gonna do that.
We're just going to meet our friends.
All right, everyone, hail yourselves.
Hail Satan.
Hail Geen.
Helgeen.
Magustalations.